Let's get back to COVID-19 in Arizona. By now we know COVID affects people very differently. Some experience brain fog, others a loss of taste and smell, even hair loss. For one Valley man, it started out very manageable, minor symptoms, but it got a lot more serious. COVID even causing a blood clot in his lungs. So fortunately, he is on the mend completely and sharing what this experience has been like. Dave Feldman joining us this morning. What a roller coaster, Dave. So happy to see you and know that you are feeling well and much more like yourself. But this really took you by surprise.
Totally did. Thanks for having me on your show this morning, Olivia. It's good to be on this side of it.
Christmas
really was a scary moment.
Yeah, Christmas Day, you start getting some of the symptoms, and really you were thinking, this is not something that's going to take me down severely. You're the picture of health, you're young, you work out, all of that stuff. We hear, that it really impacts people who have pre-existing conditions or are much older. But a few days into this, everything dramatically changed for you. So tell me how you were feeling at that time.
Right. Christmas morning, I woke up, I had a headache and a fever. Very manageable. I figured I had COVID and really didn't think too much about it. I knew a number of people that had it, and they fared really well. I would say very mild symptoms. Day 4, evening of day 4, things really changed quickly, where this thing really moved into my respiratory system and really squeezed the air out of my lungs. And I felt like I was breathing through a straw and had a small balloon for lungs. And that was a real panicky feeling, where you just couldn't take in enough air. And I don't know if you've ever heard of the term air hungry, but I just felt like I couldn't breathe. And that led to a visit to Mayo's emergency room that evening.
Ultimately, I know that you got that antibody treatment through Banner that was a game changer. They say it is really key in trying to keep people who are very sick from COVID out of the hospital. And that worked for you, but waiting for it was a pretty scary time. And doctors explaining this blood clot, that must have shocked you.
I was totally shocked. When I was in the ER, they did a bunch of tests, and it turns out that COVID is now known to create blood clots. It provokes PEs. And that ended up happening to me. So I didn't have one that evening. I went home. I waited 2 days for my treatment at Banner Health. And that morning I experienced a pulmonary embolism, which is obviously a life-threatening experience. It was about 8 to 10 minutes of excruciating pain, barely could breathe. And what's ironic on the backside of it is calling 911 was not the first thing we thought about. It was just kind of like so heavy, so fast that it was kind of just like get through the moment. And thankfully that moment passed, and my wife was able to drive me to Banner, and a 2-hour infusion with this product that was released by Lilly ended up being extremely effective treatment for my condition.
And Dave, as we wrap up, full disclosure, you're a dear family friend to us, and we were riding the roller coaster with you, very worried about what you were going through. You're a super positive person, but I know you had a couple of moments where you felt like this was potentially, possibly not going to go your way.
Right. Yeah, it was. I felt like I was pretty close to not being around. So 10 days ago, I was in a very different space than where I'm at today, and it was pretty dark. So, but with friends and my wife and my family and frankly, the medical care I received, I think all of those factors are contributing to how I recovered as well as I did and how I was able to survive.
Thank goodness for that. And I know our viewers really want to hear about people who have gone through this and are on the other side, as you said, and are recovering. But it's also a real wake-up call to all of us that we just don't know how our bodies are going to respond to this. So, Dave, continue to rest and take great care of yourself. And thank you so much for talking with us this morning.
Thanks for taking care of me.
Go give Aaron a hug for me.
Bye now.